So hello everyone, this is lecture 74 for the mathematical physics. In the last lecture we are studying about the properties for the Fourier transform, and I told you about the time shift, and we have find it how we the Fourier transform change when we do the time shifting. So st minus t naught will give you this form. So let's today study some more properties. So next is frequency shifting. So now you have your st, that is transformed to hf by Fourier transform. So if you shift the frequency, means in the Fourier transform you change f to f minus f naught. So what happens to the inverse transform? So that will change to exponential I 2 pi f naught t st. So we can take an example. Under root alpha by pi exponential minus alpha t square will give you Fourier transform as this. Exponential minus pi square f square divided by alpha. Now f is f minus f naught. Then this inverse Fourier transform of this will be given by just multiply with exponential I 2 pi f naught t. So you will get this. Now let's see the one more property, even function. If your function is even, and even means h e t equal to h e minus t, means e is nothing but this is representing the even term. So st is even, that's why we are representing e with. So now the Fourier transform of st, which is even function, will also be a even, means in the Fourier transform also it will be a even function in terms of f, and it will be real and even. So you can take an example, that is a cos 2 pi f naught t. So that is also your even and real function. Now for the odd function, if your st is odd, means st equal to minus h minus t. So the Fourier transform will also be odd and imaginary. So you must remember this, and you can take an example for a sin 2ft. So this function is odd, so you will get Fourier transform as even, means imaginary and odd. Now let's see, if st is given in the complex form, means it is a sum of real and the imaginary, then how you can find the transform. So there is some direct formulas. So first, to find the transform, we need to take the formula on the complete function. So it will be exponential minus I 2 pi ft dt. Now this can be written in terms of 2 pi ft minus I sin 2 pi ft. You know the exponential I theta equal to cos theta plus I sin theta. So that we use to replace this with this. Now we will multiply and separate the real and the imaginary terms here. So HRT when multiply with cos 2 pi ft, and this multiply with the minus I sin 2 pi ft, you will get the real terms. So we will get these two terms as real. So this complete term is real. Now when this multiply with this and this multiply with this, you will get the imaginary form of this. So that will be given by this. So now you have the real and the imaginary form of Fourier transform. So let's see, if means this Fourier transform will be sum of real and the imaginary parts. So if st is real, means we have considered that st is a complex here. Now let's see if st is real, means this part will be 0, hit will be 0. So in place of this we will place 0, and in place of this we will place 0. So what will be the Fourier transform? So Fourier transform will be st is real, then st will be equal to hrt, and hit will be 0. So real part of the Fourier transform will be hrt cos 2 by ft. So we will get this formula from here, the real part and the imaginary part for the Fourier transform. And the imaginary part of the Fourier transform will be this, and this real part will be even, and this imaginary part will be odd. Now if st is imaginary, then the real part will be 0, and st will be equal to hit. So just replace real part with 0, and in place of hit write the ht direct. So you will get this real term will be this, and imaginary will be this. So st cos 2 pi ft dt and st sin 2 pi ft dt. Now this time st is equal to hit because the real part is 0, and this will be odd and this will be 1. So you must remember these properties because question can be asked from here. Now there is next property is convolution. So what is convolution? So let me tell you. If xt Fourier transform is capital Xf and st Fourier transform is capital Hf, then convolution of two functions is defined by st and xt as minus infinity to infinity st x t minus tau and d tau. So that's how you define the convolution. So how Fourier transform properties are applied over here? So convolution of st and xt will means Fourier transform of st and xt, convolution of this function will be equal to, just multiply this hf and xf. So the convolution of this and the Fourier transform will be given by hf xf directly. And the convolution of hf and xf, that Fourier transform will be st, means inverse Fourier transform will give you st xt. Simply multiply these. So remember this property, very important. I must remember the definition of convolution. Okay, so these properties are applicable here. Now there are one more property, that is Fourier transform of the derivative. So if hf is the Fourier transform of st, and you need to find the Fourier transform of dy dt of st. So that will be equal to I 2 pi f and hf directly. So must remember this. Now if nth order derivative you are finding, and it is dn, dtn, st, and you need to find the Fourier transform of this, it will be equal to I 2 pi f n and hf directly. So must remember. let's take an example. If st is given as t exponential minus t square, so you can write this t exponential minus t square as dy dt of minus 1 upon 2 exponential minus t square, because differentiation of this will again give you this t exponential minus t square. So let's see why we write this way. So because we can use this property now to find the Fourier transform of this very easily, because Fourier transform of st will be equal to I 2 pi f and hf, means now this we need to find the Fourier transform of this only, and multiply with I 2 pi f, we will get the Fourier transform of this complete function. So this will be 1 up minus 1 upon 2 I 2 pi f, because this 1 minus 1 upon 2 is constant, I 2 pi f from here, and Fourier transform of e minus t square. So we need to find the Fourier transform of this only, and now we'll use the formula for Fourier transform for f e minus t square. It will be f e minus t square exponential minus I 2 pi f t. This is the general formula we use. So now we'll use the result we already discussed many times, and that was for this. Let me show you. So this was the result. So we'll use this result here to solve this integral. Now this will be result to this under root pi by 1 exponential minus 4 pi f square divided by 4, and this will equal to under root pi exponential minus pi square f square. Now this is the Fourier transform. Now multiply this with this complete term, so you will get your Fourier transform of t exponential minus t square. So this under root pi and pi will give you pi to the power 3 by 2, and 2 will cancel out. Then Fourier transform of this will be minus iota pi 3 by 2 and f exponential minus pi square f square. So that's how you can use the derivative property. Let's see one more example. You need to find the Fourier transform of this alpha Dirac delta function t plus beta Dirac delta dash t and gamma Dirac double dash t. So see, for Dirac delta, and this alpha will be out, and the Fourier transform Dirac delta will be 1, and it will be dash, means you need to write this I 2 pi f and hf. So hf is again 1, so what it is first derivative, so I 2 pi f. Now double derivative, you will use this power 2 and hf is 1, we already know hf is Fourier transform of this delta t, that is 1. So the double will give you a square of this, so this will be a Fourier transform of this. Now let's see how can we convert ht to h omega. So we discussed all the cases for ht to hf. Now let's see for ht to h omega. So this is the simply same thing, just now in place of 2 pi f naught in the function we have omega. So if you need to convert ht to h omega, so you will use this formula a1 ht exponential minus I omega t dt, and if you need to take the inverse Fourier transform ht to h omega, means h omega to ht, so ht will be a2 h omega exponential I omega t d omega. Now see here the different from the last one is a1 and a2. So this time if you take a1 anything, then a2 must be that way, that a1 dot to a2 equal to 1 upon 2 pi. So if a1 equal to 1, then a2 must be 1 upon 2 pi. If a1 is 1 upon 2 pi, then a2 must be 1, and if a1 is 1 upon root 2 pi, then a2 must be 1 upon root 2 pi. So this a1 a2 must be 1 upon 2 pi. So this is the property to convert and find the Fourier transform. So let's see, take some examples to understand this. So let's say we have this k, and this is your ht. So the Fourier transform of this will be k 2 pi Dirac delta omega. So this is the result. Let's see how we get to this result. So h omega, we use this formula. Let's say a1 is 1, then we will use k exponential minus I omega t dt. ht is k here, that's why I have written k here. So now the Fourier transform, so we can just multiply 2 pi here and divide by 2 pi here. Now we have converted this into the form we already know for the Dirac delta function, that is exponential plus minus I 2 pi ft dt is equal to Dirac delta f. So we need to convert any function in this form, so that we can write this. So it is 2 pi now omega, and we can write t by 2 pi as t dash. So dt will be 2 pi t dt dash. So now it will be minus I 2 pi omega t dash, and here also t dash. So now this is in this form, so you can write this complete as del omega. So 2 pi k del omega, this is your Fourier transform for this. Now this is the same as we write here. Now see, you can just take the inverse Fourier transform, and now this time you need to take a2 as 1 upon 2 pi, because you have considered a1 as pi 1. So let's see, st will be using this formula 1 upon 2 pi k del omega exponential I omega t d omega. Now see, the Dirac delta function is exist for omega equal to 0 only. So put omega equal to 0 here, this will be 1, and this code 2 pi k is constant, it will came out, so it will be only k here, 2 pi will cancel out. So see, if we don't have this 2 pi here, then we won't get the same st. So that's why we need to introduce this coefficients a2 such way that a1 dot a2 is 1 upon 2 pi. So we get the same as k we have started with. Now let's see some results for this transformation also. So this is the same thing as we did the last, just the coefficients are different. So remember this a cos omega naught t, the Fourier transform will be pi a, Dirac delta omega minus omega naught, Dirac delta omega plus omega naught. You can prove them also very easily. A sin omega naught t minus I pi a, Dirac delta omega minus omega naught minus Dirac delta omega plus omega naught. So remember this result also. And this one, alpha by 2 exponential minus alpha mod t will give you alpha square by alpha square plus omega square. So these are the Fourier transform in terms of omega, t to omega. So let's prove this result, third one. So h omega is this. So we need to take the exponential I minus I omega t to find the transform, and we considered a1 as 1. Now see, we just multiply this. So this multiply with this and this multiply with this. So see, limit is minus to infinity, and when this will be multiplied with sin omega t, this will become a odd function. So odd function with this kind of limit will be 0. So we will get only this thing, cos omega t dt. Now see, you can solve this, means you can take, this is a1 function, so it will be 0 to infinity and multiply by 2. So will 2 multiply alpha by 2 is constant, so it will be outside. Now this kind of integral can be solved, and you will get this result as alpha square divided by alpha square plus omega square. So use the integration by parts here, you can do this. So this will be your result, and this is same as this. So this is the Fourier transform. So you can take the inverse Fourier transform of this also, but by considering a2 as 1 upon 2 pi, so you will get the same as we started this one. Now must remember this result, under root alpha by 2 exponential minus alpha t square will give you Fourier transform as exponential minus omega square divided by 4 alpha. And the Fourier transform of signum function, that is sgn t, will give you 2 by I omega. So you can prove this result by the same way as we consider the signum function as the sum of unit step function, that is this way, ut minus u minus t. So we introduce this to limit this limit the unit step function or the signum function, exponential minus at exponential at, and a tends to 0. So this will give you 1, this will give you 1. So it is again become ut minus u minus t. So we can write this way. Now see, we will use these formulas here this time to convert take the Fourier transform. So we will place ut equal to 1, and it will be e I omega t, e minus I omega t. So that's how you will get these results after integration. And when you will put a equal to 0 here, then it will give you 1 upon I omega, minus plus will give you 1 upon I omega, so it will be 2 upon I omega. So you will get the same result. So this is the transformation of the signum function. Now you can find unit step function transformation also using the signum function, because you know the definition, ut is 1 upon 2 1 plus signum t. So this is 2 upon I omega, and the constant will be 2 pi del omega for the transformation. Now this will be equal to pi Dirac delta omega plus 1 upon I omega. Now the same properties can also be written here also. For the time shift, st minus t naught will be given by exponential minus I omega t naught capital H omega, and exponential I omega naught t st will be given by, in the frequency shift, means omega shift will give you this value in the inverse Fourier transform. So this is the same result as we discussed earlier. Now the time expansion will give you again omega compression, so it will be 1 upon kh omega by k. So we already discussed these results. You can directly write them for it also. So st Fourier transform will be given by 2 pi h minus omega. So this is means if you take the the Fourier transform of st as capital St, now in place of omega h omega, you will write t here. So it will be 2 pi h minus omega. This is small h, where it was t earlier, now it is minus omega. So this will be equal to this. So I hope you understand this thing. Now you can apply this derivative property also, dn by dtn st will be given by I omega n, and Fourier transform of st as h omega, so you can directly write it. So that's all for today. Thank you everyone. In the next lecture we will study about the fx to fk.